5, 4, 3. We are tWoTcast, episode 290. I don't know why that was a big one. It's 10 away from 300. It's exciting. It's 3 away. It's actually 3 away from 1000. That makes sense. When you get to a certain drug, everything I say is funny. And only 2 people right there, or 2 people are there. Fucking.
All right, everyone, shut the fuck up.
Wheel of Time. Reread a podcast. Explicit and R freaking rated. Jono's the wild card, always talking shit. Joe's the straight man. He's a total dick. Thom calls in if he's not too busy. We are tWoTcast.
Ready, set, football. You're listening to tWoTcast, the Wheel of Time read podcast. Now covering Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time. We'll be doing book 3, The Dragon Reborn. I'm Jono, and with me as always is Joe.
Oh, hey, Jono.
And with me,
Hey, man.
as always, as it should fucking always be, Thom.
Start your math.
Please excuse my dog clacking around on the wooden floor.
Yep, your wife is just walking around. I don't know what the fuck her deal is.
Oh, sometimes she doesn't understand when to lay the fuck down. You know?
Clacking around.
Just clacking around.
Who calls a woman's footsteps clacking? Joe. The answer was Joe.
Any man that has a wife in high heels.
Yeah, are they wearing heels? Are they wearing heels?
Just clacking around.
Just clacking the fuck around.
You can hear all 20 of her toes just clacking around.
Pongo, which is a pet name for my wife. Hey, man.
Hey.
How you doing?
You know what I call my wife? Pego. So that makes sense because she pegs me a lot. So I guess she pongs you?
Yeah, she definitely pongs me.
Yeah.
After I ping her.
All right. You found her phone?
Not a good joke. That was not a good joke.
It was actually a great joke.
It was a bad joke.
I love it. So this is, we won't do much preamble because we're already in the same room for
Pretty
the last...
shit-faced.
Yeah, we're pretty fucked up. Say
Pretty
that's
good.
right.
Pretty good.
High fives. No reason
All
other than the
around.
fact
The
that
High
viewers
fives in
can
real
see
life.
the
High fives in real
You don't
life.
have to explain high fives.
Yeah,
the viewers
the viewers can
fives.
see the high fives.
but the listeners can't.
Oh. Well, we don't have any listeners. We have viewers.
Oh. This is a desperately short audience looking around. Obviously, we have...
No, they're live streaming viewers.
Oh, now I live stream twice a day.
Only twice? I live stream 3 times during my coffee in the morning.
That's how I make it creamy.
Yeah. And then I like
It's impressive in a man your age.
During your coffee or into your coffee?
During.
Both. Wait. I'm not sure I understand the question.
I live stream into my coffee at least 3 times in the morning.
That's how you make that coffee last. You recycle
Sometimes
it.
I have a 4 p.m. live stream. I want to stay up late.
This is going to be an amazing episode for no one but us. So let's just get to it. Spoiler warning, we're drunk. That's not right. Spoiler warning, we've covered these books a number of times, and we're going to do it again. This is our episode covering The Dragon Reborn, written by the one, the only, Robert Jordan.
I think what you were trying to say there was... We'll talk about things that happened.
It's a spoiler
in the later books.
Jesus, don't spoil what the fuck we're going to talk about, man.
We may mention
The warning
things
did not go to that.
that happened in the 14th book, even though this is book 3.
Which, by the way, 4 minus 1, 3.
That's math.
That's what that is.
Study it.
Thomas,
Yes.
do you have something for this chapter?
Bring us on in.
What's it called?
It's called Chapter 44.
Cunted.
Hunted. Cunted.
Cunted.
Wait, what did I say?
You said hunted.
Oh, my bad. It's a parent chapter, and they're in Perrin's room, very specifically.
The gang kills some dogs,
That's way more fucked up now.
and the other gang kills a lady. And then fireworks.
Okay, good. That is a very solid.
And that's
Very
your
solid.
recap.
So,
Yeah.
so we find out Samuel, and Fael still says she's staying. This is where, and I alluded to it last
one of the
time.
Forsaken roles in Alien.
Which I love that. Like,
That line was actually
Moraine,
kind of badass.
We probably shouldn't have skirted over, but
We glossed the fuck over in the last
Joe was pretty drunk.
episode. I was pretty drunk.
And still is.
Oh, God, do you not sober up between episodes?
No.
If we can get through this, if you could just stop drinking for 1 second.
Damn it.
1 millisecond.
I can't imagine being a fan of this show, and I feel bad for those who are. But thank you all.
You want to branch off, John?
I branched off.
Well, who would record those?
Joe?
We're trapped.
Joe, do you
All
want
right,
to be...
I'll record
Would
it.
you record and produce a podcast of
I'll
just me and Jono if we
produce,
stormed off?
edit, and upload
That would be
your
the-
new podcast not involving me.
I appreciate your,
We'll
bringing
call it
things in.
Twat Not Joke.
That tWoTcast is coming to you next week.
From Joe's house.
Featuring executive producer and recorder, Joe Aaron.
Silent partner, Joe.
Yeah, everything Joe. Alright.
So
Who's going to draw your logo?
Joe.
Damn it.
Yeah, we'll need a new logo.
But what the fuck do you even bring to the fucking show here, Joe? What do you fucking bring? As you sit here coughing on podcast, that's what I'm talking about. You're not adding anything. You're literally just
Say
coughing.
words.
I don't know.
It's a podcast.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What type of
He's
shit is
supposed
that?
to be talent. He's not talent.
Yeah.
We're talent. Clink to that. Viewers can see that.
Yeah.
All right.
the viewers can see it, for sure.
So, as we talked about, at the end of the last episode, which we didn't talk about, as we talked about, Moraine bursts in.
Yeah.
Quickly, because it's obviously a part of a Friends episode, real quick, like it's almost Kramer-esque.
Yeah, she slams the door open. Her hair wiggles. Do you got any cereal in here?
Forsaken rule. What is the deal with that?
I like how a fucking both Perrin and Fael are like, well, are we leaving? And she's like, unless you want to get to know Samuel better. Like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Which we find out we'll find that in a minute. But, so yeah, like, Fael says, I'm still staying, and Perrin is just
Wait.
What
That's
the fuck is this?
This is an important note. This is the third opportunity Fael has had to leave this group of people. And she's like, you can leave right now. You don't know enough yet.
Maybe she
She's
heard.
like, I'm still gonna leave.
And she
I'm still
became
gonna stay.
Beetlejuice.
This is a story for the ages. And then Perrin's like, that's not good enough. What the fuck?
He loses it briefly, it
He
sounds
does
like.
for a second, but fails
I
in her
get it.
skin, which, obviously,
I get it.
The lady you're attracted to.
He's kind of bizarrely low self-esteem, clearly, that like some chick who has been staring at him, flirting with him.
Why does Perrin have such a low self-esteem?
Well, let me shrug my shoulders and maybe work some of your
Is it the
metal.
wolf dick? It's the first
Maybe it's because his family didn't want him.
Oh, it's a valid. I love that point. It's not wrong.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
His parents like, let me put you in an opportunity with someone else, so you can stay with him and not us, so that you can be the best you can be without him.
Perrin,
Do you think he's sad?
you're a really strong young man.
Yeah.
How about you go live with the Luhans?
We're tired of you breaking everything because you don't know your own. Just get the fuck out.
Stop Hulk breaking the banister.
I think Perrin was sad in book 4 when he came back and found out his family was dead because they didn't get to see that he had like a hot girlfriend. And
Like,
he was
he's
like,
like, God damn
that's
it.
where this is like.
Well,
man,
first
I was
off-
gonna finally rub it in their face and they died.
It's like coming to my high school reunion and,
And
going
then
like,
everyone's
hey, check
dead.
out my wife. And then everyone's dead.
And he still brings him to her
What if
grave.
you went to your high school reunion again and it was empty? You're like, where is everybody? Like, they're all dead.
Well, this is my wife, just tits out, like the tightest dress still.
I would be like, I guess I won. Either that or we're like, am I next?
Who has this weird list of people? It's a
Carter, Steve Buscemi from
from Wax, exactly. It's like My Wife, the Tramp. What's funny is I actually considered, like, do I make the Steve Buscemi joke? I do.
It's the greatest thing.
Billy Madison, Steve Buscemi is the answer. Thank God. I'll take your
I'm
time.
sorry, I misspoke. It's not the greatest thing we've ever come up with. The Win being an idiot after he leaked some of his brains out. That's the greatest thing.
Followed by Elaine on the same track. I know that was 2 episodes ago,
but still
100% relevant. Yeah.
Who is Lieta?
Nieta is the
Nita.
Nita. No, it's Niea. Duh.
It's Nita.
Yeah, it's Nie. Duh. Yeah, Nita.
Yeah.
Yeah, duh. Sick. Niea. Duh. Yeah. I keep adding extra syllables and letters, but it doesn't matter. So she is probably the worst, really, to a certain extent. She could not be more. She cannot be more intentionally just awful. Like she reports to either Moraine individually or the Blue Aja. Right. So she hears Samuel.
Clearly she's in eyes and ears, and clearly she's been sending letters to the White Tower, and she's like,
but
have you gotten my letters? And she's
but is it to Moraine or to the Blues?
I think it's to Moraine, but to the Blues in general, and then obviously Moraine left like a person behind to be like, hey, answer my correspondence.
I mean the point is like they always have like kind of like trails to it, and we're gonna see more about that when they go to Saladar. But like she's giggling at the idea of a gray man. She's laughing at the idea of snow, even though she's had ice like in her bowl, which is like it seems like if it iced here, you're only 30 miles from snow.
Yeah.
Like, is there not anyone you've heard that you trust? Like, there's thousands of people coming down the fucking river all the time. If you're that skeptical of snow, like you have to be the worst.
That's ridiculous.
You have to be the worst fucking like. And then we all got butchered by a Trolloc. That's not true. But seriously, we all got butchered by a Trolloc. 3 other people saying. Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? Bongo!
She's yakking on a bone.
That's it. Later on in this chapter, is yakking on a bone. Anyway, so it's just like, is this really the best eyes and ears you can imagine? She doubts everything, but you are telling her directly, hey, Samuel is here, the Forsaken. Greyman. It's like, you think Greyman is weird? What about the idea of a 3,000-year-old being that's been frozen in stasis?
You know what I find insane about this woman? And here's the interesting note.
She's fat.
She was willing to throw bodies into the canal, not knowing that they were actually like dark friend assassins. Just like she goes, oh, you killed a bunch of people. I don't want to have any of that trouble in my inn.
Sawdust.
If there's a sawdust on the blood, a dead body near you and it has a belt or belt loop, throw it in the canal.
Just throw it in the canal. Just pick them up at the belt loops. It's very normal. It's a very normal thing to do.
What else would you do? You don't leave it there.
I don't know. Call the goddamn police officers.
No.
Jesus.
Call the police. Narc.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But if I was an inn proprietor, I might be like a little more concerned with, what's going on in the city.
So Moraine mentions the fact that like Samuel didn't actually send the Greyman, which is weird, but did send the Darkhound, which is the tracks that we saw.
How does she know that?
Great question. Don't have an answer.
I think it's more about.
I would like to talk about that for 1 hour and then end the podcast and not cover the other chapters because I'm like fascinated
by how she knew that.
Yeah, how does she know who sent what dark creature to attack her?
Yeah, not to attack her specifically.
Yeah.
Maybe the Darkhound went right back to Samuel.
He sent the Greyman.
I think it's just intuitive nature of going like, well, I'm. You know what? That you're right. That makes no fucking sense. There's no reason why she would have any inkling. Why
I'm go out exploring?
Forsaken.
And then I'm gonna come back 30 minutes later.
Would do
unless she walked all the way to the palace, or I guess unless she walked all the way to the square with the slightly smaller than the palace. Unless she would just spied on Samuel, saying like, who's a good boy? What did you guys see? Oh, they were gray, man.
That's the thing. We don't know.
Maybe she found a collar on the Darko.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point. Like, we actually don't know what she discovered in terms of, like, what she did or how she knew it was Samuel. Did she actually say that?
Or she like creeped up to
does.
the palace and then looked in the window, and it was like two Forsaken talking to each other, and Samuel was just like, "Why isn't the Gray Man? Why isn't the Dark Hound?"
And she's like, "My name is
she came back
Samuel,
all mysterious
and
and
I
like,
sent the Gray Man."
I know who it was.
What is the deal with those gray men you sent?
I just don't.
Why is it back to
That is a
Seinfeld?
little weird.
Dark Hounds.
I love how like Perrin is like. So Moraine thinks the Dark Hounds were after her, but the Gray Men were after Perrin. And then Perrin just goes, "Well, aren't the Forsaken friends? Don't they just like talk to each other?" Like he's like, I don't understand. Aren't they just talking to each other? And it's like this sort of brilliant moment of like, let's delve into that a little bit further. Like, are the Forsaken fighting against each other? Let's maybe figure that out for 2 seconds.
It's pretty
and
much
then
the
2
cornerstone of the
milliseconds
series.
later,
Yeah.
he says, "Well, Ray's the Dragon Reborn," and Ray's like, "God damn it, Perrin!" And then they just get off in this huge tangent. You're like, "But what about that brilliant thing he just said like 2 seconds ago? God damn it! It was like he was right there. It was right on the tip of his tongue."
What he says is literally the cornerstone of how they all live. The fact that they are far more, like, because they're dumb, they're so selfish, they think that the biggest obstacle to... They think the biggest obstacle to power is each other versus Rand for the longest time. Great song there. And so therefore, they spend more time politicking against each other versus... If we all just team up against Rand, kill him, and then, we'll see what the fuck happens, they would probably have had this in the bag literally 2 books ago.
Yeah.
Whoops.
2 books ago.
Yeah, the end of book
Perrin's
1.
like, "Oh,
like
Rand's the bloody the Dragon
halfway through
Reborn."
book 1.
And
he's like,
okay, 1.8 books ago. And so, like, as you talked about, like...
Is Matt Flick?
Yeah. He's got his tongue stuck to an Ashinari. The point is, like, Moraine's like, "Well, you're fucking sealed to us now. Good job, Perrin." And I'm like,
You think that's enough?
to be fair, she had 3 opportunities.
Also,
Multiple times. Moraine, land, then Moraine again. Get the fuck out of here. You don't know enough. It's getting dangerous.
is she
Get the fuck
that
out.
sealed? I mean, the prophet's already out there. Paige
Yeah.
Nile has drawn
Maximus
Brand's
is over there
face.
just like, "The dragon's been reborn. His name is Rand."
He
like,
stood in
what, the
clouds.
dragon? Like, everybody already knows. I mean, 2 weeks from now, like, everyone's really gonna know. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah. I mean, well,
If
at this
is book
moment
1,
in time,
that'd be something else. But-
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, this is book 3.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me check those.
Tom, we're in book
Oh,
three.
yeah, it does say book
Yeah,
3.
Dragon Reborn. It says it at the top.
Oh, and it does say reread.
And there's
I
spoilers.
should know that.
And there's a warning.
By the way, reread means we've been talking about this for a while.
And
That actually does not
We
mean
actually
that.
started this episode a while ago, too.
So anyway, Nita,
All right, so we'll go
flee
faster.
Ilion tonight with anyone you love.
Ouch.
That's an intense statement.
And then she says, "I love a lot of people, but nobody loves me because I'm fat." Right?
You know she calls her pussy
But
the fat
a lot
gash?
of people used to love me because I used to be able to get up on tabletops and dance.
Now
with very little clothing.
But not anymore. Beauty is fleeting. And
It's
now
fleeting.
Lardo.
Lardo. I
Is that
love
what she says?
That's correct. No.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's a direct quote.
It's amazing how well you've read these books. Beautifully so.
Anyway, let's get to Moraine killing some Darkhounds because it's awesome as fuck.
Yeah, so they run out of the town and they turn east. And it's a good thing, by the way, this is Mach 1 original Darkhounds versus the shit that, well, I guess it didn't really matter because Moraine actually melts them with Balefire anyway. It's a weird thing here because, like, everyone seems so, like, tense, like they're about to die. And so, like, as you mentioned, they run out of town. They get to this fucking, like, weird spot that's east enough. They turn to face their like whatever the fuck their adversary, and like parents like think he's about to die. He
love
puts
how parents,
3
like,
fucking arrows in one.
Is that played up like the direction you have to be and all that shit, or is that? Am I conflating that with like myth I already know about, like weird?
What do you mean?
Sounds like that. Where like you can't like face east or whatever. Like I'm not being accurate. You know what I'm talking about?
No, yeah, you're right. Like you can't, like, if you pass a crossroads, whatever the fuck. There's like it does seem played up, and part of that is because I guess
Hound of the Baskervilles or something.
You may be, but that's all right. They're flowered hounds from actually book 1. These are just totally normal dogs.
They're just dogs with powder on them.
Sugar, actually, it's powdered
No,
sugar.
a hound like this, you're not supposed to be able to kill if you're like on the wrong side of the sun or
There's a bunch of weird prophecies.
Well, the whole point, like, so like Perrin's like shooting this hound, and he shoots one like 3 times, as you were saying.
Yeah,
and the whole time he's doing it, he's like, Marine, what the fuck? Do something.
Well, he
and
thinks
then he's
they're
like
all about
shoots
to die.
again, and he's like, what the fuck? Why aren't you doing anything? And he's like shoots again, and he's like, what the fuck? And then finally she's just like balefire, and it's crazy because it's just like
stormtroopers.
Did she just fucking like?
Yeah,
hit the ground.
I love it does.
Did she like sweep a stream? Like, did she like Iron Man across an entire field?
So exactly the question.
Or are they like culminating on a point, and that's why she was waiting? What's going on?
I think she was waiting for the last possible moment, like maybe.
Well, she here's the thing with the oaths, she has to feel threatened.
Yeah,
like physically
not a
threatened.
Person.
No, she has to feel like.
Not to kill a fucking dark hound, it's Shadow Spawn.
Tom's right.
Fair point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then, excellent question.
Maybe
she was just like,
I think she was waiting for the last possible moment, and she's probably never seen a dark hound before. So she's maybe Perrin can kill one with it.
So she knows that
and then she saw it try 3 times, and she's like, all right, he can't. And
well, I think Tom's onto something though. The idea is that she is as strong as she is for an Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Balefire is one of the strongest weaves. So, again...
So, she knows she can do this weave.
Yeah.
She knows that if she does
good or bad...
It's like, fuck the fuck
you gotta be good for goodness sake. Yeah.
And then also, she's got this thing in her head that's like, okay, if I fucking do this...
I fuck up.
It needs to be for like a fucking reason.
Maybe, but to be fair, it's not a giant bar of balefire. They're in the middle of nowhere on the top of a hill. And the dark hounds are running up at them. So really the only thing she's turning back in time is maybe unbending blades of grass.
No, they don't do that. It would be well, I got 2 ideas. Like, so one, first off, she wants to make sure that there's no holes in stone. Maybe she's worried about the state of the stone on the way
landscaping outside of Ilion.
Yeah, she doesn't want to.
But also, secondly, we know that
because we all know that Ilion is just like bulging out of a marsh, so it's very important.
So the stonework is actually fairly important, really.
It's like
it's very Monty Python built a fucking thing here in the middle of the marsh. But secondly, an actual thing is we find out later from Rand and Matt's point of view that Samael, and maybe it's not relevant here, but he wards his town, or his whole entire fucking nation, in boxes. Mm-hmm. So instead of because obviously you can't have wards that intrude upon each other, so he has them in little boxes, little zones.
Yeah.
So maybe her worry was making sure they were close enough to her that it would not warn Samael. She knows she has to.
Basically, she clearly says that later.
Yeah.
She's like, I really hope he didn't see that. Like, as in, like, I really hope that my use of balefire was not noticed by the Forsaken.
So she has to make it small enough that he wouldn't notice, but large enough to kill him all at once.
Yeah.
So being closer, they're more huddled in. You can fine tune this weave.
I really think it was like a funnel. Like, they were, like, out in a field, and they were like running closer and closer to their quarry.
It could be, although there is still.
And then it's just like,
it could be.
That's the perfect moment.
There is still the weird point, though, that this is Mach 1 of the Dark Hounds, presumably, because they die. Like, right? 3 arrows kills it. Why not just, the arrow garage? The arrow garage.
I just assumed.
Yeah, why not? What is that called? From Dragonless Wrestling does it all the time.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Or just little finger knives.
Yeah,
that he shoots out.
Fans.
Made of air.
Yeah, or just, like, why not just have the fucking tripwire?
No, we have to delete that. We're gonna lose all of our nerd credit if we can't remember what that's called.
Or just do a tripwire.
To be fair,
crossing.
we haven't read Dragonlance.
To be fair.
Dragonlance. He actually has. Remember, that was the point.
To be fair, we've interviewed Margaret Weiss twice.
I've also said, you know, I have at the top of my intro here.
You know what I have?
Dragonlance check-in time with Thom. What do you got? Nothing.
No, I actually have been reading the Twins books.
The Twinks. I was about to say.
No.
So anyway, hoping Samuel did not see that. What if he sends more and she's like, we're just an annoyance. He doesn't care. He's after Rand. And he's like, is he after Rand? And she's like, well, Rand, maybe Matt. And then he's like, Moraine just goes, I mean, he's a Tavier and he blew the horn of Valyria. And Zoraine's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, especially right on the heels of like, well, Rand's the Dragon Reborn.
Also, she's been so careful not to reveal anything, and every single time Perrin accidentally reveals something to fail, he's like, God damn it, I'm such an idiot. I should be more careful. Moraine's so careful. Why can't I be like Moraine? And then Moraine's like, you know, Matt blew the horn of Valyria. It's not a big deal.
Rand's the dragon. He says, what about that? They're like, what the fuck? Oh, whole point.
And on the hilarious relationship aspect, love triangle we've created in our minds. I think it's just
real.
I think it's just Moraine just being like, "Hey, fuck you, fam. Oh, you care about the horn? What about this? Here's a little tidbit. Horn's been found. Yeah. Not only found, sounded.
I've got the bushiest pussy.
Trying to get the attention of one of my Taviran?
Yeah,
He's seen my pussy.
You trying to perch on the shoulder of my Taviran Falcon? Anyway, Matt's playing with fireworks. He cuts one up and throws it in the fire. After he's done, Thom freaks the fuck out.
I love this.
He's trying to kill us, boy.
He's just like, this is the perfect fucking buddy cop duo.
I know, they're fucking best together. Like, I fucking love Matt and Thom together.
Matt
I really
and Thom.
Tom should really just be saying, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah,
just make it Lethal Weapon and let's
literally
move on.
saying
What year did Lethal Weapon come out?
I don't
Is it 87? Something like that. It's like it was only... It's only a couple of years, so like it's literally like, this was pretty fresh in Robert Jordan's mind. Like it's like 5-6 years later.
Oh, that's really true.
Yeah,
I never thought.
I really like Lethal Weapon.
that's what he says to Harriet. I really like Lethal Weapon.
You ever see that Mel Gibson? He's just a fucking wild card. It's incredible.
Holy shit! Danny Glover plays this adorable old curmudgeon.
I am unhappy with this revelation. It's so right.
And then Vannon's just like sitting in the back of the car. Joe Pesci.
Oh, Vannon's Joe Pesci?
Who else would be? I don't know. Maybe Noel.
Ooh.
Not now. It's Vannon.
Neither one of them is Italian enough sounding. But either way, I love this. This is a very good point. Anyway, so Matt cutting up the fucking firework is just such a dumb Matt thing, and his response clearly lack of any sort of chemistry. I don't understand why they didn't teach this.
I just love when Matt throws those, like, he cuts it open.
Nothing happens.
He has a little bit of rocks in his hand, which we all know is gun fucking powder.
Saltpeter, yeah.
And then he throws it into the fire and he's like, I wonder why there's no bang. And then Tom's like, what the fuck? Are you insane?
But he throws it in, like, there's like small little flashes, and he's just
and he's like, why was that a bang?
It's like when you throw a Coke can on the fire.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's not that interesting.
He's like, Tom's just like, I don't give a fuck. God damn it, stop doing that. And then horses approach. And she's like, ho, the fire. And we all know that's when you force a fire to have dirty street sex.
Oh, the fire.
And then you collect money. Right?
Oh. Go on.
That's it. That's all I got. A woman and some retainers approach. And we come to the fire, and she's like,
deep dive it.
She's like, hey, man. She's like, hey, man, how's the fire going? And he literally just stands up to say hello.
Well, it went okay. I threw a lot of gunpowder.
You know what? You know what the funniest part about this is? Like, this whole scenario is like, basically, assassins approach the fire. And he stands up to say hello. He's not like he's pulling a sword out. He just stands up and goes, oh, let's shake hands. And she's like, kill him, you fool! And I'm like, what the fuck? He's literally just standing up
If you had waited 18 seconds,
in a ridiculous way. Like, kill him, you fools!
they approached it with no weapons out.
He didn't do anything. He was just standing up to say hello. He literally said, "Oh, hi, how are you?
Kill him!
Let me get up and shake your hand." Oh, kill him, you fools!
That was our chance. That was the sign.
Again, if Ed had a fucking
I
sign
said
language,
when he puts his hand out, fill him with arrows.
Anyway,
that's it. He reaches the hand across and she doesn't grab it, and she's just like, "Kill him, you fools!"
so the key here is that obviously Thom and Matt murder several more people.
And it's a woman.
And it's a woman. And he freaks the fuck.
Well, Thom
Jesus,
kills
Thom.
the woman. Yeah.
Why'd you kill her? I was gonna handcuff her with my zip ties, which don't exist right now.
Yeah, I was going to spend it's the dumbest guy. It's pretty much a weird sober version of what the fuck Rand did a few chapters ago.
It is, yeah.
Of he tosses it's perfect, right? Tosses one firework in there, flashbang grenade.
And they're like, "It's an eye," and he's like, "No, it's fireworks, you idiot."
Yeah. Just tosses that in. Yeah, again, Aes Sedai.
But seriously, Thom kills. I mean, it's 4 people. Thom kills 3 of the 4 people, including the woman. Matt just has to face off with one guy.
Yeah.
And then
He's a stone cold killer. Was he an assassin back in the
That's
game?
what I'm fucking wondering. It's
Yes.
what the fuck?
Well, he was in his.
Was Thom just sitting in Borgese's court, just being just throwing knives at a board? What the fuck has this dude been doing?
You do realize that Thom spent a lot. I don't know if you guys noticed in book 3, or not book 3, book 2. There's actually
spent a lot of time.
There's a point about the fact that he spent a lot of time doing throwing knives in GoldenEye.
Oh, that's true. He would just run over boxes and just.
He only played on License to Kill.
Yeah, he's long to touch.
That's how good he was.
Jesus Christ, that guy's. It's a headshot every time. Or maybe the throat. Yeah, every time Thom kills somebody with a knife, it's just like. And the blood comes down.
The red fucking curtain coming down.
And then they respawn at the river because that's where they started.
Dina dies and he goes off. And just at the end, if they just wrote Dina. Oh,
dead.
You think that's where that came from?
Fuck.
She's dead.
Anyway, so Thom kills a couple, like you said. Matt beats a couple up.
So the key here is that Matt's upset that Thom killed the girl.
Yeah, but it's not that important though, compared to Rand.
The weird thing, and I think we noted this several episodes ago, and I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, so forgive me. But Matt killed a woman.
No, Matt didn't kill her. He did.
No,
Thom killed her.
No, several.
Oh, yeah.
He's killed a woman at some point. I don't remember when.
The first woman he kills is one he fucked.
No, that's later.
Rand kills a woman.
Rand killed a woman.
No.
Matt doesn't kill a woman.
Matt has never killed a woman.
Hasn't he?
No, and he doesn't until it's that aisle that he sleeps with.
Editor's in charge.
No, it's fine.
No, I'm just joking. It's much funnier if you just.
Something.
I can't remember.
Oh yeah, we'll just Austin Powers this.
I love that you just make the sound now with your fucking mouth.
Basil, Basil exposition, because he's gonna meet Basil Gill. But on that note, though, there is an important point that as they're walking away, they're done. He just goes, "Crossbowman was a good swimmer." And Tom's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, it's the dude from the Aranon." And honestly, when you think about that guy had to swim across the river, catch on to someone, and then
travel down the river.
beating this fucking ship, and managed to go diagonally. Honestly, that's the weirdest thing when you think about it. This guy had to have gotten off somehow and swum, and that triangular, been lucky as fuck to find him.
Maybe the current took him quite a way. We don't know.
But he's got to find these fucking people.
Also, why couldn't Matt say "Oh, hey Thom, that's one of the guys that tried to
Nope,
kill us"?
Crossbow was a good swimmer.
Be a smart ass. It's like when you're in a room with somebody and they're looking at their friend, and they're like, "Oh my god." And if you just don't respond, they just keep getting
they keep giving you more details.
And I'm like, hey, I don't actually respond to that. If you want me to be in on what you're
Matt
talking
just goes,
about, just
looks like he was a good swimmer. Thom doesn't say anything. He's like,
no. I refuse to acknowledge that.
And wait, no. Looks like he was a good swimmer.
I mean, like you said, this guy's got really great.
You know,
he's got really good muscles.
I'm not acknowledging that.
You know what they say?
I recognize his face in dim lighting.
White water in the morning.
Tell me what you're talking about, or fuck off.
By the way, 10 years ago, Thom said something along these lines, which I fucking adore. What if he's just the guy that Matt knew from the Two Rivers that just swam really well? Because there's no reference whatsoever of like, he was the guy from the river and then we killed him. He's like, what if we just... Thom said something along the lines of, what if we were just at the YMCA together and he was a really good swimmer and I just recognized his face?
It's the dude who had the ferry in Terran
And then he
Ferry.
grew up and became an assassin.
It's the Terran Ferry dude. It's nothing to do with the River Aranon.
How's that guy? It's the guy that always beat me at swimming. He's from swim class.
Oh, all the girls liked him.
But there's a
water
swim
would.
class? Anyway, Matt dumbly still thinks that it's the girl's fault. Or Elaine.
Bitch. Again,
Because
you're
of her letter.
Tevyerin, you stupid cunt. I'm sorry. What did I say?
He read her.
This is the dive down deep of like...
Denial's best effort.
Matt and all three of the girls going like, Matt's not important, and Matt going, oh, the girls aren't important except for Elaine's the daughter heir, but like there's no it's just constantly them going,
Lack of self-awareness.
I don't have the dark.
What is the deal with that?
I don't have fucking like magical dice in my pocket.
No more Seinfeld.
You really gotta stop with this Seinfeld. Also, keep going. Anyway. Tom's like, you feel like sleeping? He's like, yeah, I can sleep like a baby.
Because I kill people.
Yeah.
Or I'll ride. If you want to ride, I'll ride. I guess we'll let. All right, I guess let's ride.
Maybe we should talk about how little sleep they get. Because, like, from Erangel...
clearly not a lot.
Yeah, but Erangel...
Anyway, chapter 45, Camelin, they're there.
Yeah, I know.
It's a Matt chapter. Camelin is where they're at.
All right, my notes are, Matt doesn't go to the palace.
It's not true that he doesn't get inside the palace. Yet.
Well, yeah.
Wait.
Well,
yes,
spoiler.
it is.
Spoiler. My notes for chapter 46 is Matt goes to the palace.
Good notes. Yeah.
I mean, we get a little bit of like, hey, here's Camelin right now. And then it's...
Stop saying Camelin.
Yeah, I hate it.
What am I supposed to say?
Camelin. It's one word. It sounds like you're making a joke that we were edit this.
Oh, it's like a country. It's a country lass.
Yeah. Camelin.
It's her middle name. Not all one word.
I'd forgotten that Camelin.
Stop saying that. I hate it. I'm gonna hang up.
Camelin, whatever. Jesus, sorry. I'll speed up a little bit as I speak.
Has a foregame. Like there's that town, and we only see it like when the siege happens with Elaine later on. But I totally forgot. Like whenever I reread these until we get to that part, I totally forget the fact that there's like half a city outside the city already because they're on Wall 2 already. I guess there has to be like a third. But it's kind of a cool little thing about like just how fucking big and bustling it is. And also really bad strategy as far as protecting your people to have them outside the wall.
No, really low guard walls on the palace too.
I think it works out for them later.
Works out.
I mean, yeah, they when they're fighting in the city, spoilers. This happens way later. But when they're fighting in that city, it's pretty cool how the streets like zigzag and you can't. It's horrifying because you never know when you're going to get cut off from your own men. However, it's very easy to cut off the enemy from their men too. So, by men, I mean Trollocs.
Do that inside your walls because this whole like side of it.
Now, I'm certain everything goes well for the 4-gate.
Yeah. Just no matter what. It's just all going to go well, burn down, raise the ground. Fine. Yeah. Anyway, so we kind of get Matt's point of view that kind of seeing certain pieces he remembers, certain parts he doesn't because he was carrying the evil dagger of mental herpes, and gets to the palace.
So he walks all the way to the palace. He goes into the inner city. He runs into a fat guard
with ratty
Who
eyes.
immediately turns him away without letting him get a word in.
It's the first we see of Gabriel's fucking shitty guards taking over the palace.
Yeah, for sure. Because then Matt comes back to the Queen's Blessing and is like, what the fuck's up with the palace guards? And he's like, oh, you probably ran into some of the guys Gabriel hired.
Oh, they're
He's
dicks.
assholes.
They're dicks now.
Yeah.
There's definitely just this bizarre, way too obvious dichotomy of like who is or is not a, like Morghese versus Gabriel thing. And yes, again, she's obviously under, spoiler, the fuck is it called? Oh, Jesus. Under his spell, right? But it seems obvious that to everyone else, this massive dichotomy, maybe check into it? No? Like, do we have shitty guards?
It does seem weird that, anybody that questioned her or had the balls to question her gets, ousted, like Gareth Brent.
It's funny that the chatter in the street is
Gareth
basically...
Bryan, I meant to say, sorry.
All these changes are happening and nobody likes it. And they're basically all just shrugging their shoulders and Morghese must really like that dick.
Yeah.
I mean, serious.
I think
not the first time they've seen that, right? I mean, Thom Maryland was briefly chief consort there.
And then all the guards were clowns.
Yeah.
Jugglers.
Jugglers. Gareth Bryan came briefly. They were all...
She's that easily influenced. I think it'd be interesting if a requirement was that all the palace guards had to know a skill of some sort, like juggling or flute playing.
Hey, a good skill for a guard would be swallowing a sword. If someone's about to stab you, you just
deep throat it real fast.
Just diving headers in the middle of war.
Nice try, Jemmy.
You spit it over the wall. You fucking idiot. Now you have no sword.
It's gotten progressively worse. The guards used to be a borderline circus, and then they were just very serious and military. Now they're just fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Who's she going to sleep with the next?
Her son. And that, you know what that means? They'll be distinctly uninteresting, useless.
This fat guard just reminds me of every cop that's ever pulled me over.
I was going to say that if the next person just sleeps with his son, then all the guards are going to be retarded. Incest babies.
Incest babies. You got to watch out for them. It's not going to go well.
They're all, we want Milky. It's what the fuck guards are these, Thom? They're retarded.
It's when we get canceled for it.
And they enjoy
inferring that retarded people are all a result of incest.
This is our cancel moment. Finally, after every other thing we said.
I would love it if that happened and our reaction to it was just whatever. And we just kept doing the show.
What are they going to do?
Oh, no, you're mad?
I mean, what are they going to do?
There's a new episode.
I'm not going to listen to your free podcast. That'll hurt your bottom line. Oh, shit, they got us.
Now we're done.
Wait, I figured it out. That's probably why we've never been canceled.
I literally don't know if anybody listens to this anyway.
I mean, people listen. We have viewers.
We have people right outside.
I know people watch it. I don't know if they listen to it.
A bunch of deaf people just standing around pointing.
Anyway, Matt says something about can you count so high to the fat guy, and then he runs off before he gets arrested.
I do love.
We already kind of talked about this, but he goes back to Queen's Blessing and talks to Thom and Basil Gill, who play stones very well.
He's very bad. Just by the way, I feel like you missed the point here, Joe. He's very bad at it.
Oh, what? No.
Yeah.
He's just luring Thom into his web, Jono. It's all it's better than the great game.
I mean, we'll never know. They never finished the game.
Yeah. He's called a shark, Jono. He lets you win, gains your trust, and then that's when he starts gambling on the games and pounces.
It's the color of money.
Yeah. Greenish white, digital.
Dogecoin?
God damn it.
Hey, do you think tWoTcast from JordanCon counts as some sort of
we should have done tWoTcast. I mean, you know that there's one called Cum Rocket that was briefly up 40% in a moment. Yeah, there's a
Yep.
And that's not even a made up thing.
And then it got tired and took a nap.
Yeah. It was briefly up. Shot its load all over the internet. Got really tired, went right back down.
Still, cum rocket can go anywhere.
The internet's still sticky.
Sticky bandits from cum
Anyway, Matt, like, I like how Matt walks up to the Queen's blessing like he like knows everybody and owns the place. He's like, "Hey, what's up, guy in the stable that I didn't remember your name?" And he's like,
toss a coin.
And then he gives him money and he's like, "Oh yeah, my lord, I got your horse right here. Don't worry about it."
They're all just surprised this blackout drunk remembered them.
I think that's what it is. They're just like, he spent the whole time he was here in his room. Oh, I remember that. Is that handsome prince?
They think he was upstairs doing a cum rocket.
It's up 69%.
This is a 17-year-old guy that gets a room in the attic and never comes outside.
Why would he? He's got rockets upstairs. I do. So this is like a chief, like weird, just Matt, like feeling his moment kind of thing. Like, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Climb over this fucking fence. We're going to go take care of this. Just like totally just.
Yeah, just talking out loud. And Basil goes like, "You're not going to climb over the wall, you idiot, are you?" And he's like, "Sure, why not?" And then he's like, "The guards will kill you." No, they won't. I have a daughter. I have a letter for the daughter heir. I'll just say that part first this time. And then they're like, "Still, you're an idiot. You're going to get caught. You're going to get a lot of trouble."
Just wait for it.
Oh, by the way, the cook wants you to clean the drains today.
I love his interaction there. It's just so funny. Just kind of like, "Hey, are you married to that fat chick in the kitchen?" He's like, "No, why?" And he's like, "Oh, no reason." Also, she wants you to do everything, and it seems like you're sexually repressed. And odds are, you probably should just fuck her. Huh?
I thought.
What do you think
this the first time that they get?
Oh, rim job.
Oh, she needs a douche.
Yeah,
probably
very oniony smelling in there. I'll be honest. Yeah.
I thought they would get together, or they were half together, and then suddenly Basil Gill becomes a character that we see a lot more of than is necessary later in the books, and that never happened.
Well, he's got a bald pate that he likes to.
Honestly, if we as a collective decide to not talk about Morghese or Basil Gill or Lenny for the entire rest of the series,
skip those chapters.
I'd be very happy for it. We can't skip the chapters, just not discuss them in any way, shape, or form.
So we're just like chapter 49, chapter 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we talk about
like Pedro Nile talking to some lady? Anyway, so he's kind of intimidating.
Can we talk about Talonvor? I like that guy. Okay.
I like Gil. I like Gil more than Talonvor, really.
Yeah,
what does Talonvor do? Like
sure.
Talonvor, like right here, cool as shit. We'll get to him in the next chapter. But by the end of it, like all he does is like literally quiver holding his sword, which is, weird. Wrong weapon, asshole. And like can't get past his like hard on.
Morghese won't love him back, Jono. You don't understand his pain.
He's not 18.
I actually don't hate any of them except for Morghese. We didn't even find Lenny is okay.
What about Valda?
What?
He's not part of that group.
He's a rapist.
This is why Morghese and Lenny are really both intolerable.
Yeah, even Valda rapes her
constantly.
But he's not part of their group.
Well, I mean, I feel like if you're not raping them, then you're part of him. I feel like that's kind of like tacit admission, literally.
You force yourself into the group.
Yeah.
You get to show up when they make plans and don't invite you. You don't have to rape anybody.
Well, clearly they watched the wrong episode. Always funny. Always funny. Always funny. Always funny is a good one too. Because rape. Uh-oh.
One of the 3 prongs of the Darklands plan.
I mean, it's a lot of prongs.
It's a lot of pressure on your TV show to call it's always funny. If 30 seconds, I'd be like, I don't think so.
It's always misnamed and wherever the fuck they are.
Maybe it's the ironic sense of the fact that it's never funny that makes it funny. Depends on your perspective.
It's a drama with no funny part. Like it's funny in Carahan. It's just super serious,
and everyone looks like Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
super serious Tom Cruise hype guys wearing very dull colors because they're not hanging out in the foregate where it's fun, and then they just just talking very quietly about something that's happening in the city.
And Did you see Joe had 3 stripes of color
364 days a year until that one day where everybody fucks in the street.
But That's but that happens between seasons. They just talk about it. They're like, oh,
I'd rather talk about that date because let's say you're 13 years old, you haven't hit puberty yet, but like, are you just waiting like, oh shit, oh fuck, holiday is next week. Like, I'm just hoping to God that like puberty finally hits, because then you get as much dick as you want or pussy, depending on what you're into.
It depends on what you want.
Is that holiday? What is that holiday based on? Carnival, Mardi Gras.
Well, it is technically Carnival.
Wait, I thought it was Festival of Lights. Isn't it?
I don't have a response.
All I was thinking of Adam Sandler's 8 Days of Light.
I said, what is that holiday based on? Carnival or like Mardi Gras? And you go, I thought it was called the Festival of Lights.
Jono said an answer first, though, and I thought he was talking about a Wheel of Time name.
Took out the Carnival.
I see what you did.
And I was like, what? I thought it was this in the Wheel of Time, and I wasn't answering your question. But I get how that's confusing. My bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, chapter 46.
Oh, you didn't want to... No, I'm kidding. Yeah. A message out of the shadows.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a Matt chapter again. Yeah. And then, guess what? Camelin.
Matt goes to the palace.
Oh, that's the whole thing.
Look, I had to rush these notes when we were together last week, so that sounds like good enough.
I mean, it is good enough.
You'll get a little more for the next chapter, but not a lot.
I just wrote, he climbs the same fucking wall that Rand climbs. What the fuck is this Zelda bullshit? All I think of is like fucking Ocarina of Time, when you're just going through the palace gardens and the guards are like, huh? And then they just like quietly walk the other direction, and then you're just like running around the bushes because you're only bush height because you're like a kid.
Is it worse than or better than the white cloaks who only walk in a straight line? Because at least they had like kind of these guards are also only walking a straight line, but their wall that protects them is actually just a wall of entry.
Maybe they're just like, well, nobody wants to get into the garden.
I mean, are they even patrolling, or are they just like walking the grounds? Like, are they just getting from point A to point B? Like, or are they like literally patrolling the garden?
I assume it's patrolling, but they also have Fitbits on, so maybe they're just kind of like, gotta hit our threat.
Just gotta get my steps in.
Yeah, keep my going. Wife's gonna fucking bitch at me now if I don't hit that magic number.
Is there nobody on a roof anywhere guarding anything with a bow and arrow?
No one has windows.
They're all maps.
No
crossbows, no
one's
bows.
invented a razor wire.
No arrows.
Keep rhyming, please, Joe.
I have to go into that Zelda dungeon and find the bow and arrow.
No crossbows.
No doggy pets. That was
no. Anyway, it just seems like it's guards walking through the garden. It's funny because when the only part about this that makes me laugh every time is that when he's trying to, and I think maybe it's just Robert Jordan to be like, this will be funny. And he types it in and adds it to the book. Or maybe he's like, hey, this wouldn't be this an interesting thing about his luck. Like when he's trying to hide, the guards are all over the place. But when he's like just walking down the path, no one comes. And I kind of like love that idea. And I'm like, I don't know if he like really wanted there to be more weight behind that other than this will be funny because it's a Mad chapter, or like just because if that's all it is, that's fine with me. But like,
I think it's funny as shit. I agree with you. It gets really kind of like, there's one person, got it. Like once he gets past that, like after the very important thing that Tom's going to tell us about, that conversation he overhears, like he's just kind of like, someone find me, he's instead of like holding a fucking lantern, holding a fucking letter in front of him, looking like the dumbest like Letterman. Like, just like, help me. And he seems like he's almost like halfway to Morgaze. Like just bizarrely penetrates inside.
It does seem like he's really close, like weirdly close. Because Talonbor's like, I will fucking cut your head off. What are you doing here? You know, kind of thing.
I think that's Tavir and getting him to hear the conversation and making sure Talonbor runs into him.
That's interesting. That's even interesting though, because then it's like the guards are all there, so he's like keeps diving into bushes and scuttling along the wall as opposed to like just like walking through the garden where it's empty.
And then because like
once he hears the necessary news, he can walk freely.
He goes to the garden. He avoids everybody. He hears the conversation, and then he sees Talonbor coming. So that's when he just says "mischief managed" and Let's get you ready to see the queen.
Well, I mean, Talonvor is the right guy.
When he takes off his invisibility cloak, gets caught by Professor McGonagall.
And now he's got to go back to the Queen's Blessing and go to bed.
Mischief managed. So let's talk about this conversation between like 8 different really shitty jokes, like Gabriel and Kumar. No, that's not right. Like that kind of thing. It doesn't matter. It seems like the weirdest thing for them to overhear.
Kumar, are you doing a White Castle joke? It's Kumar, right?
It is Kumar, yeah.
Kumar.
Gabriel and Kumar go to White Castle. Kill
Yeah. Well, I mean, the White Castle is Hamlin.
It's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You know what? There's something to this joke. Let's workshop this for the next 5 minutes. Let's really get it right.
Joe can't be more annoyed looking than if he tried.
Let's really get it right for 10 years from now when we cover it again.
I actually just keep coughing. I mean, I'm muting so you can't hear it, but I've coughed like every 5 seconds. I don't understand what the fuck's going on. I think I might have COVID.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
You did have a gathering at your house last weekend.
I got a third vaccine. I'm recovered.
Was it Wednesday? It was Tuesday. So we were there 3 days ago. That's fine.
You got a third vaccine?
Real quick, Tom. Obviously, it looks beautiful behind you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
What is that? Some sort of secret garden you have there? So anyway, overhearing Gabriel talking about Rand and the girls, he sends a man off to go kill her, and by kill her I mean Elaine
and the others.
And then they talk about how they saw the boat that they were on near Erangel, and Matt does not put that together. Although, understandably so, I suppose.
Yeah. I find it very interesting. Just kind of like it's a cool plot anyway. Just that like they want like the kind of like the Forsakens, how they're interacting right now are very kind of like, I don't want to touch the border of Tyr because he'll think I'm going after him, which I kind of am. I'm not.
Yeah, which I like. I love that little note because it's just like interesting.
It's probably bring up more because it kind of brings us to their personality. Because the answer is, why the fuck aren't these assholes? Like, they should just conquer the world like that. They're stronger than, smarter than, that kind of thing. Almost everyone.
The advantages they have just based on the knowledge of the age that they came from is astronomically in their favor. And if they work together for 2 seconds, they could easily take Rand out, and all
each one of them can grab a country in like 2 weeks, become in charge, and make peasants that have never seen them totally enthralled. It's just a little bit like
we didn't really note this, but Gil does talk about his dreams. Now he dreams about it a lot. Doesn't he? Or is that after this?
I think that's after.
Isn't it weird that they would all take a country and Bilal takes the one with Kalendor in it? And they're like, that's cool, and I don't want to do anything to offend him. When in reality, you should probably be like, we probably should kill him quickly.
I kind of made a note about that, and I don't remember where, but I guess we'll get to it.
That's a phallic point. Because
it makes me think Bilal's a lot stronger than I ever thought he was, I guess. Right?
Well, Bilal is one of the strongest.
I was considered like Robin and like Samuel to be like fucking up there with like Ishmael.
Yeah.
But like maybe is Bilal like stronger than them or something? Like why do they
I think Bilal is still
up him so much.
So my memory, which is of course a very foggy thing, and this is one of those things that you should, you've got time to repair. Why not look it up? But fuck you. My memory is actually Bilal is actually top 3 or 4 of the Forsaken, and that realistically, he was incredibly talented in a number of ways, but just never quite there.
He just couldn't put it together.
Yeah. What's that, Tom?
Oh, you mean he couldn't bring it?
He could never put it together. He was the smartest of all of us, but he never graduated college because he spent too much time partying.
He jerks off.
He spends too much time wandering around the stone tier, staring at a sword that he can't touch.
What?
You're never gonna figure it out, bro.
That's my memory.
I do love our theory of him having a Rand skin glove, though. That's fantastic. Just reaching through with Rand's skin on his hand. Got it. Problem solved.
This list that
Rand is touching the sword.
This list that I googled randomly has Bilal listed as number 8.
That's what I said. I said he's in the top 8.
Yeah, but that's sort of what I remember.
I also don't know if
but
this
the
is
way they
correct.
deferred to him, it's as if he's maybe his station is just higher. It has nothing to do with his actual strength.
Yeah, it's from Dragon Mount.
I mean, look,
can you guess the order? Ishmael's number 1.
Yeah, Ishmael's 1.
2.
Center Age?
2 is Damodred.
Yeah, Damodred. If it wasn't for Rand, Damodred would have been the most commendated man.
Oh yeah, because that actually makes a lot of sense.
3 is Grendel.
The last battle.
Wait,
Yeah,
3 is
Grendel's pretty powerful. I thought Lanfear was more powerful.
Grendel.
It says ranked in their order of capabilities and threat level.
Okay, that's not the same fucking thing.
4 Lanfear, 5 Samael, 6 Semrich, 7 Robin, 8 Bilal, 9 Mathana.
Yeah, but given those criteria, them ranking Bilal that low is because of maybe like the circumstances and what happened to him. So like, I don't know if I agree with him. I just want power level.
Asmodean dead last. That poor son of a bitch.
It's a shame. I liked him. Anyway, are there none fools in the world now? I can't move into here. Anyway, I won't fight him now, is what he says. He doesn't say I won't ever fight him. He just said I won't fight him now.
If I guess it's smart to kind of watch him slowly get unstable just to see what the fuck happens, because as long as Rand's not there, Bilal can't do anything with Kalendor. Obviously, he doesn't know the fact that the biggest fucking horde outside of Tarvalon of Angreal is there. That would have been an unfortunate lesson to learn for Robin. But kind of again, what's he going to do there besides just hang out in a fucking city just like everyone else is?
Is it possible that they don't know that Kalendor was there until after Bilal seized that city?
It's common knowledge, but they haven't read the news in like 100 years.
Well, I mean, it's common knowledge to like everyone that lives in this age, but I mean, to them, the breaking of the worlds happened after.
Maybe
maybe they're not aware of where everything is yet, and they're just like grabbing power where they can, and they're like, "Fuck, I picked the country without."
I think there's a lot more intention. I think it may be kind of like again, it's a liability to have Kalendor there because Rand may come there and fuck it. So do you really want to seize power where the path is for the Dragon Reborn versus being for Robin, the strongest country in the world is probably Andor, or at least one of the strongest. So why not take that, which got a strong leader, someone who you can kind of manipulate without really kind of fucking anything over, and play like a more Dias Damar kind of thing.
Why are they trying so hard to play games of politics and not just going insane? Let's rip shit up.
There's also the chance that like they are
they trying to play everyone against each other,
listening to Ishmael and taking orders at the same time, trying to like vie for power. And so like maybe they're in places because he put them in places. I mean, that's possible.
Or the Dark One, right? I mean, in 3 books from now.
Well, Ishmael is technically like the voice of the Dark One at this moment, theoretically.
3 books from now, Damodred is meeting like all the time with the Dark One briefly and letting the Lord of Chaos rule. So maybe this is part of the plan of just let the Lord of Chaos rule.
Damodred's like, have your cities. I'm going to have a whole country.
And what's funny is like, I'm sure there's a number of readers who are kind of like, oh, you guys should have mentioned this, that. Our answer would be, well, you don't do this drunk without really being prepared. So.
Do you think any of the readers would have suggested what I'm about to suggest is that it's funny that the Forsaken divvied up the lands in the cities like they just all showed up for their first day in the real world and they were all picking their bedrooms?
Well, on that note, you guys ever see
a new house, kids? I get a room with a cool closet.
Did you guys ever see the SNL version where Norm Macdonald plays Bob Dole and he goes on the Real World?
The deepest cut Norm Macdonald SNL bit I've ever heard.
He just keeps asking why people are, why in Bob Dole's chair? Don't eat Bob Dole's peanut butter. Just over and over. It's a horrible Bob Dole impression.
That does make it better. It's
not good at all, but it's 100%. I probably yell at my wife about once a week if she has anything with peanut butter. Why are you eating Bob Dole's peanut butter? She has anything. I just why are you in Bob Dole's chair?
Your fucking ability to pull the most insane fucking deep cut shit out of the goddamn 90s is amazing.
Don't worry, it was early 90s. I'm sure you're shocked. Probably mid-90s, I guess. Because he ran for what, 96 or 95 would be what I guess. But yeah.
Sure.
Awesome.
That was a very confident answer from someone who is wildly political.
Yeah. I love
anyway, we already talked about this. He does see the dude that he assumed was Robin giving the orders, but it turns out this big dude is the whiny
it's
backpedaling guy. Yeah.
It's kind of fascinating.
It's interesting.
I would have loved to kind of found out more about Lord Komar because, like, apparently by all descriptions, he's a kind of strong, intimidating dude, and yet at the same time, obviously, he's nothing compared to Robin, and so it's just kind of like he's cowed as fuck. But once he kind of gets in his own element away from him, and Tyr later on in this book, like he's confident as fuck, that kind of thing. I think it would have been very interesting to have kind of seen like dangling plots, if you will, or early plots from Komar that kind of affected things. Because I think he's an interesting character that probably could have been given a little bit of like space to breathe.
Sorry. I was just going to say, the space to breathe.
Is that Elton John?
It's a bad Dave Matthews joke.
Another gay artist. Right?
Yeah, I think so. We find out later, though. So he walks over. Anyway, we already talked about this.
I loved it. Dave Matthews joke.
Anyway, Talonmore finds him and is like, all right, fine. I'll take you to the queen because this seems legit for some fucking reason. But he demonstrates how quickly he can get his sword to Matt's throat, and he's like, I'll fucking kill you if you try anything.
Look at this, I am.
And then I love how he does this little like, by the way, and also take that fucking flower out of here, you goddamn idiot.
Oh, I kind of want to see this chat. Like, this is one of those that's just like kind of perfect for TV, right? Because like he grabs the Morning Star or whatever the fuck it is, puts it in his ear after he feels briefly he climbs a wall. All right, cool. He still has 1,000 fucking feet to go at minimum, and thousands of or dozens of guards. But he feels like
the wall's that tall.
What?
The wall is that? Forever. I always thought it was like 10, 20 feet.
Yeah. No, it takes 1,000 feet.
Did I say 1,000 feet? Like, he's still 1,000 feet to go, I'm saying.
It's 500 feet up, Tom, and 500 feet down.
There's no fucking way. It's not taller than a goddamn tree. Not a big tree, like an apple tree.
We're not talking about the wall, you idiot. We're talking about how far he has to get to the queen.
I was like,
1,000 feet down. The 1,000-foot tall tree.
Holy shit.
It's only 1,000 feet in one spot. But yeah, I just imagine him walking.
And that's the part he picks to climb. I don't know. It's a little. The bushes are really thorny in those two areas. I'm just going to go straight for this peak. I know it's
better handholds right here.
Yeah.
I just imagine him walking through the halls though with like arm extended with a letter in it and like getting no one. Just passing no one until Talonmore sees them. Just like,
he doesn't get inside.
Message, my lord.
He walks through the garden, and right when he gets to a door, basically, Talonmore opens the door and is like, "What the fuck? Who are you?" Like, he's not like wandering the halls.
Wouldn't there be a lot of people walking around that Talonmore might not necessarily recognize?
I mean, I feel like there would be. But
he's wearing shitty overalls.
Matt's point is, Matt immediately goes like, "I'm a messenger with a letter," and he's like, "There's no fucking way that you'd be without guards
at the front of the palace. You have to go through a metal detector and get a visitor's badge."
Yeah. Where's your visitor's badge? Oh, I dropped it in exchange with this flower.
That's it. Put the wrong thing on my badge here. It was meant to be a flower.
I meant to put my visitor badge in my hair, and it turned out it was a flower. It was my visitor badge.
I think you'd be in more trouble if you had a visitor's badge clipped to your hair.
Would you? It's really up high where everyone can see it.
feel like that's counterfeit.
Matt plans to reveal to Morgaze that someone in the palace is plotting to kill Elaine while she's like reading the letter. He's like, all right, now when should I tell her? He's like, but my queen, and then Gabriel's like, shut the fuck up, peasant. And he's like, oh, it was you. Oh shit. I should probably not say anything.
So what were you gonna say? Nothing?
I was gonna say that my name's Thom O'Hara. Grinwell, I mean.
So obviously,
is this our last shout out to Els?
No, it's not. First off, this is a shout out to. You do realize this is a shout out to what had just come out at this time, Ace Ventura 1, when Courtney Cox says, "This is my friend Ace," and he goes, "Thom Ace," which came out pretty close at the same time. I think this.
That's funny because 10 years ago, Jono, you said P-tier Griffin, which I also thought was funny.
And this does tie into one of the actors from Ace Ventura 2 being in the Wheel Time show.
Oh, there we go. Swan Sanch. We all know.
I'm gonna sip my drink on my phone.
Should have saved that for Patreon, I guess. Anyway, I was just thinking that it was interesting that Robin, his name is basically Raven, and his secret identity is Gabriel and Angel, while Bilal's in tier, his secret identity is a fish.
It's a net weaver.
It's a High Lord Salmon.
Net weaver. Yeah, these guys are pretty awful at it. Like,
that's exactly. This is.
I'm not a bad guy. My secret name is Good Guy.
Yeah.
Your dentist.
Maybe he just like walked out of the ocean, climbed up onto a dock.
Why I became Lord Gabriel.
He's like, I'm the High Lord Salmon.
Yes. Oh, you like fish?
And I pronounce the L.
I do as well.
So why is it, I drink a lot. Why did I not put Peter and Gabriel together and just like what's your
my name is P.
It's a real shame.
Gabriel.
What's your sigil, Sledgehammer?
Anyway, Matt almost gets killed because he barely realizes that Gabriel is the great master that he had overheard, and then he kind of backpedals, says he's Tom Grinwell. And then I do like how Morgaze is like kind of on the side. I mean, they don't really say anything out loud, but clearly Gabriel's like, question this guy? Put him to the question? Without like saying that out loud. And Queen Morgaze is like, probably. And then he disarms her by saying something funny like, Elaine has a saucy tongue. And I was just like, and then Morgaze is like, oh, she does, doesn't she?
I know. What's the sauce?
It's cum.
Sauce.
Sauce mouse. Cum Tom.
Literally what I was just thinking. Yeah, I was just thinking about it.
They're pillow friends. Like maybe someone's kind of like a little bit more of like a kind of wetter chick. I assume that's a
marinara sauce.
I
don't know why that got Jono so good.
Oh, because I've seen that.
Sweet and tangy.
I don't even know. I don't know why that was so disgusting, but it really was.
I really like how, and then it's so funny because Gabriel is like, and still doesn't say anything. And then Morgaze is like, no. Too many people have been put to the question lately. And I was like, holy shit, you almost got thrown in jail for delivering a letter from her daughter.
It's the second time Morgaze has stopped her advisor from throwing a tA'Veren in jail because of, I'm assuming tA'Veren.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good point to be tA'Veren right now because if you have to deliver any letter, you probably go to jail unless that. It's just kind of like,
That's a solid note. And that was before Morgaze was under the influence of Forsaken.
Alcohol.
So my question is, based on our theory of both Gawain and Elaine having some of their brains leak out, and that's why they're so stupid, when was Morgaze's head injury? At the tower?
I think Thom is fucking her up.
Maybe she slipped in the garden and Elida healed her, but some of her brains leaked out first, and that's why she was like, "Off with your head" to Thom, and like ran him out of town.
Oh, I like this. Here, we all know that that Elida did a lot of work in the gardens, right? Book 1, like it's mentioned that she's kind of regrown some like flowers. Maybe she put like a weird kind of like just little place for her to slip.
What? Elijah did it on purpose? No.
Oh, you mean like some kind of Iceman slide? In the garden?
No.
Whoop, right over 1,000-foot wall.
sounded like
Crack her head open.
We all know what it sounded like. We're doing it on purpose.
Basically, he
The
told
leaders of the world.
Yeah, Morgase is like, well, tell Elaine that I miss her. And he's like, well, I wasn't planning on going back to Tarvalon. Like, that's insane. I have things to do.
Have we discussed what Gabriel looks like? Supposedly, he's taller than Rand.
Is he?
Like, he's like, like really fucking hot. So like, just kind of like giant. So he's like 6'10". Like he's clearly, obviously stronger.
6'10".
I think he looks like Reed Richards if he worked out and had long.
Worked out
every day.
Does Reed Richards need to work out, Tom, or does he just like inflate his?
Yeah, that's true. You can just do that.
Check out these muscles. Is that muscle, or are you stretching your body? Does it matter?
What's the difference? So here's another question, though. All the Dark friends are kind of aware of what Matt Cawthon's supposed to look like. Why don't the Forsaken? Right? The Dark Friend Social. Maybe he wasn't out yet in book 2, the beginning of it, but you would think that there would have been a similar.
I don't think he was.
Well, I get that. He probably was not. Almost definitely he was not.
Doesn't Basil Gill say something about like a winter time?
Yeah, something like that's when they all came out.
Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of Iliad and Samuel.
Ishmael's keeping that information to himself because even Lanfear, like, she doesn't recognize him on sight. Like, she meets him, she's like, oh, so you're this guy. Like, oh, this is what
Ishmael himself took a long time to puzzle out which one was Rand. And
again, that was 3.
Maybe he's holding it to himself. Yeah, no, but maybe he's not telling them.
It just seems like okay. Well, I'll go with it. All I can say is, like, at first, like, it just seemed like, shouldn't you know this is one of the 3 ta'veren?
I mean, he should, but again, I mean, they're, as we've noted already, they're clearly not working together. So, like,
thank God,
maybe Ishmael's not telling them on purpose for some reasons. I don't know.
We see later on some of these people have the ability to see ta'veren. Clearly, he does not, or at least does not right now, because he stares at him and then tosses him a bag of gold.
I love that. He's like, well, if Elaine can give you 1 gold piece, here's a shitload.
And then I'll kill Elaine for a lot more. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw you in jail, put you to the question. Here's a lot of
Here's a shitload of money. See the world before you go back to your cows, peasants.
Somebody get me a new purse.
And then I just love how this chapter ends with him like being escorted out by Talonvor, and all he can hear is like Robin just already whispering in Morgase's ear. Now let's go fucking destroy Carrion.
Yes,
there you go.
Take over another country.
And guess it's a weird thing what they're doing is they're stopping the refugees we saw earlier, but taking over Carrion is what happens. Her daughter takes over Carrion, oddly enough. But so it's definitely a
but if you're gonna wage war with a nation, you want their resources to be depleted, not yours, by all the refugees. Like as much as a humanitarian.
What if the refugees are like clockmakers and shit like that? Then you want that.
Or if the refugees end up fighting for you to take back their own nation or something, like that would
a very valid point.
No brainer. Bad guys don't think that way, Jono. He's a bad guy.
I think it's weird that you catch a peasant in the garden and bring him before the queen. And like they have like some conversations about that before he's even outside. They start talking about important matters of state they should be having in the situation room.
That does seem a little odd. By the way, I chalk that up to just like rich people just assuming poor people have nothing to do with them, and then they'll never bite them in the ass.
He's not poor anymore. He's got 10 gold.
Yeah, he's rich, bitch.
You know what I mean? Like he's a peasant.
It's that.
He's
rich,
lesser than. You know?
If Matt would have said that and just gone running out of the throne room.
So, Tom, next chapter.
Chapter 47. It's called To Race the Shadow, and it's Matt, and he's leaving the palace / the city.
Yeah, Talonvor can't figure out Elaine's letter or Matt's allegiance. They talk about the plot to kill Elaine and a plot of their own to take down Gabriel by whispering. Matt makes a pointless wager and basically wastes a life.
Yeah, that's a good point. I love, like you mentioned briefly, it goes nowhere really, but
That at the end of that chapter is the equivalent of me going to Vegas and you being like, "Hey, here's $10, put it on black for me." You're like, "Yeah, okay."
That's very valid point. Oh, done.
It's a valid point, Jono.
It was also red. I'm sorry, Thom. You lost all your money.
You always bet on black. I don't know if you've ever seen Passenger 57.
It doesn't matter. Basil Gill immediately came back like the next day, even no matter, it was red. Wait, what? We didn't have to. I'm sorry, you're right.
I don't know, does Basil Gill even ever know who wins this bet and like who pays out the stakes? He's just holding his half of the bet. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
What you don't know is Basil Gill line. Put it in the dumbest fucking inn.
It's just bank. Matt going like, "Who gives a fuck?" And also, maybe he knows he caused a lot more trouble for this guy the first time he was here than he should have.
Maybe.
Maybe he's just like, spend that money. He's got to hold it. He's the house now.
Yeah, he's the house. Tom's right. I mean, like at this point, although we don't know what the house charges for, some type of like,
what if from the next time we met Basil Gill, he was a wealthy casino owner?
So Matt to beat Robin plus 140.
Yeah. You see all of a sudden he just started turning. I'm not good at stones. I'm going to change the odds here.
Basil Gill's just taking action on this, and everyone's like, "What's the bet?" He's like, "I don't even know."
I don't even know. Matt versus Robin. They're like, "Who's Robin?" He's like, "I don't know."
Also, in theory, ultimately, Robin won that bet, killed Matt.
Oh, but guess what? Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Only once. I kill you with thunder. My friend kills you with balefire. Guess what? I'm back. Like, God damn it! All of a sudden,
thunder under the covers.
Parlay bet.
Rolling like that.
That was smart enough. To put a couple of bets going on. Is I was like, well, Robin to win, but Matt to win ultimately. All of a sudden was just kind of like, oh, it's a twofer. Who has that idea?
Oh. Only one guy.
It's Matt Coffin. You can't bet on yourself.
Yes, you can. Why not? Sure. All right, you just have someone else place the bet. Parent.
It's exactly
for
like
our viewers out there. I was doing air quotes.
Robin wins a Kentucky 500, but then they find out that Robin was doping, so and give the winnings to Matt. So topical.
No.
Importantly, here we learn of what their plan is to fight against Lord Gabriel, which is, of course, rumor.
Yeah.
No, I mean
the Fleetwood Mac album.
Nope. I'm out immediately.
What if instead of following any of these characters, like our main characters from here, we just followed just Basil Gill planting rumors and it was just gossip for like 300 pages and they just played the theme song from Melrose Place the whole time? It was incredible.
I don't hate it.
I've dated myself 40 times in this episode.
Which is actually a new low. It's not bad.
Yeah, you're keeping it down tonight. Good job.
Yeah. See you later, though.
Real world jokes, Melrose Place jokes. There was another one that was pretty old.
That was me. That was me.
I mean,
with the SNL.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, you already said that one. Yeah, that's probably also still me.
By the way, it was. We all know it was. We just don't remember. But it was.
The youngest person on this podcast continually sounds like the oldest one, though. That is true.
Yeah, well, I'm
trying to help you out.
I yell callback every time I have sex. It's a very, very weird thing.
Remember, it was like last time. Yeah, we get it. God. Anyway, tell him we're escorts him out.
We did that already.
The fat.
Oh yeah, but no, we actually have a valid point.
Sees him at the gates.
Yeah.
No, we're just bouncing around. I know we talked about the Basil Gill and the rumors already.
This interesting.
Yeah. Rat guy sees him and is just like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Oh, hello, Captain. I somehow got through this gate without you knowing. Odd, one might say."
How long is that guy's shift?
It's only been like 17 hours. Maybe
5
it's his
feet.
new shift.
Oh, that's about a shift that a woman wears under a dress. Nailed that one.
5 feet around?
Wait, you really did? I didn't get the joke.
Stupid.
So I do love. This is where Talonvor is such a actually useful officer. And it's really funny how little, and not his fault because he lived in one room at the time. Matt picked up. Talonvor is like, what does this mean? Like, what does it mean she lived with Sheriam? Sheriam might molest the fuck out of her and beat her with a strap. Like, I don't know. Well, what does it mean? Like because Talonvor is legitimately an actual queensman and also sexually depraved here for a noble. And but like trying his best to figure out what the fuck to do and what all this means and like whether or not like and poor Matt Cawthon, who could not be smarter in so many ways, dumber in so many ways. Like I support her and Gabriel.
Yeah,
you did play it right down the middle.
Is it not obvious? Like in fact, what he said earlier,
I think it's pretty obvious. Like Talonvor even says, like, it seems like she's trying to tell me something sometimes, and then Matt just immediately takes that information and goes, and Gabriel. I like them both. We don't know.
I enjoy
He's
the
not
fact
trying to murder the daughter heir that I know of.
It actually is pretty clear based on what Basil Gill's already told him, like that the guy he ran into the first time is
like
one of
some of the
Gabriel's
guys
men.
with Gabriel, and some of them seem like Morgase's old people, and Talonvor says certain things around it. Like you should kind of put those pieces together, I think.
Also, what does Matt care?
Yeah,
he doesn't. I think that's what that is. Yeah, I think he just
I'm out of here.
The problem is, like, he should
I
actually.
think he cares in a way, but I think he's got way more important things on his mind. Of like,
he's more worried about the
get murdered. Yeah, and then
he doesn't care. Let's get real. He doesn't care about it.
Yeah.
Do you see his reaction when Agenor and Balthamel like knocked Nynaeve on the ground once? Yeah. Screamed wisdom at the top of his lungs and went crazy. That's who he's worried about.
Also, though, PTSD from having been beaten by Nynaeve. Like she's strapped him so many times. He's got this weird kind of like, that's my lady.
Well, I mean, everybody wants to have sex with the babysitter at some point.
I wrote, Matt says he's just a mudfoot. That's when you have no magic in your feet at all.
Oh, yeah, that's a racial slur.
I'm like 90% purebred. My feet, though, gross.
My feet are mudblood.
Piece of shit.
So Matt runs off, as we kind of talked about. Goes back to the Queen's Blessing. They're playing Stone still, but it's a different game.
Tell me about the cat.
The cat is
I don't care.
Humping up and down on some guy's lap.
Just doing the fucking like little kneading at someone's dick, and that's why Basil Gill is the better player, but he's just having this cat just knead his dick. He's like, don't care.
Okay, so we do get a little.
That's why Landwin likes those cats so much.
just
covered in cum.
You remember this one? It was always a white cat. No, I think it
keep
was.
the rats down. That's why I like them. No other reason. Gabriel came while Morgase was in Tar-Valon yelling about Elaine missing. That's what had happened. We do get that news here. News. Riots were happening, and Gabriel stopped them in quotation marks. I wrote.
I don't know what just happened.
They mentioned Elaine being queen after Morgase dies, and if not, Dai-Lin would probably.
Dai-Lin.
She's like, and then he goes, well, I guess Dai-Lin could keep him around as a fuckboy, and Gabriel would still be around, but he still wouldn't be king. Kind of thing. Like they just go down this weird list, and I'm like, that's an odd choice. Interesting.
That's what they think. Also, couldn't Basil Gill and Thom have figured out real fast that Rand was fucking his cousin? Why didn't they tell him?
Would have been helpful, yeah.
Oh, you're right, John. So yeah, John, this is when he says I had bad dreams. Gabriel gave me bad dreams ever since he came. But the key is that this is the second time the readers started this in like X amount of chapters, and you're just like, okay, clearly something's going on here.
I thought Basil Gill was going to die from this because he said, I'll do some rumors. And Thom was like, well, be careful. It can't be traced back to you. And he goes, oh, it's not a big deal. I heard somebody tell me a dream that was actually my dream just the other day. And I'm like,
yeah,
no, that's not like a weird rumor thing happening. That's actually happening. Everyone's having the same dream. You definitely better be careful about who you tell these rumors to or you're fucking dead. And I thought he was going to die for sure.
I think there's a weird thing about the Andorran perseverance because like when they go to Ilion, and maybe I'm just looking at shit, like when they go to Ilion, the Loyal figures it out real quickly, Moiraine and Lan figure it out, and then Perrin figures it out real fast that like everyone here looks depressed, angry, or whatever the fuck, or 20%. They're 1 out of 5, what they say. Matt doesn't say that. Thom doesn't say it. Basil Gill doesn't say it. Like, there's no, like, it's definitely not the same ambiance of, like, just, like, hatred and giving up at the same time that happens in Iliad. But at the same time, like Basil is actually having the same fucking dreams, though. Like, it's a weird dichotomy in that, like, not everyone is as effective.
I think it depends on the Forsaken, because everybody in Tyr is just like, man, this guy is the greatest, and he has dreams of glory himself about the sword. Everybody in Ilion is just angry because Smail is just an angry little bitch boy all the time. Everybody in Camelot's like, this is great because the Forsaken in our city just fucks young girls nonstop.
Jesus Christ.
Well, he does.
It's true.
They're living under a cloud of orgasm like all the time.
This is actually the happiest, most productive country in the world. Why is that? I have these dreams, man.
Basil Gill's describing his dream, and he's like, and then I was having sex with our server woman.
The weirdest thing is I wake up with wet pants every morning.
Every day. Wet dreams all the time.
Can you imagine when it was?
I feel like an 18-year-old man again.
Balthamol, like old Balthamol in a mask took over a country. Like the weirdest dreams. Like then I had a dream that my prostate didn't work. Like damn!
Everyone's just eating mushy food because they're afraid their teeth are just going to start breaking out. And are all wearing bandages even though they have no injuries. They're just like, my skin's falling off. I'm freaking out. It's like a bad drug overdose.
I'll tell you what, that country of Shinar went down the hill fast. What happened there? Well, they got taken over by one of the Forsaken. Which one? Oh, bandage face. Like, oh, Jesus.
That's why Grendel doesn't take over cities. She's tried it before, and just everybody masturbates all day.
Yes.
All day.
GDP is down 100%. They're just all home, jerking off, chafing. Tails
old bandage face. That's what we called him. All right. So clearly Thomas snapped out of his slump because he's immediately like, well, I'm going to come with you. And he's like, huh? I thought you came here just so you could get murdered. Clearly he's done a 180 since being around Matt long enough.
Well,
to be like,
no one threatens his daughter.
That's true.
Or potential daughter.
No, I really love to push that theory.
I always sort of still think that.
They both have blue eyes.
And gnarled knuckles.
I just like how Matt's like, he's like, I don't want to die. And I like those girls. And I'm like, you don't want to die? You just said like 2 days ago that you wanted to die.
I think the real question is like,
I was drunk.
Like, why is it you like them?
Oh, that's a real question. Wait, which one do you like and why?
Yeah.
It's funny. My notes literally says, one of them is my daughter. I mean, lover. I mean, shut up. Do you know where the powder packets are? In the cabinet in the back, right next to my bottle of Dick Cream. I always stick team.
Go away. We're going to Angle. All right. That's tWoTcast for this week. If you have any comments or questions, the best way to find us is where, Thom?
I actually don't know. I haven't had this queued up for a week, 5 days.
It's usually the same place, tWoTcast.com.
Oh, yeah, tWoTcast on Twitter.
Gmail.
tWoTcast.
Why are you making him read your part, Jono?
Gmail.
Because I can't find my parts. I scroll up.
Yeah, I know. It's so far away.
Listen, wherever you get your podcast, you can email us at tWoTcast@gmail.com. And that's when I say, suck it, Thom.
I got nothing.
tWoTcast
I got a gif of chocolate rain.
This is the best podcast ever. Brought to you by Taffy Bennington at Sing with Taffy on Twitter and NRP 101 on Cough Cough YouTube.
I found it. We're on Patreon.
We're still not here, you cunt. And also everyone's favorite musician on hashtag Twitter Time, Androl at Androl Ginhold on Twitter, Androl Bard of Time on YouTube.
I'm not going to do it now. I feel bad. All right, we're on Patreon. It's patreon.com/tWoTcast with an O. Give us some money.
With an O.
Thank you to us. Join us next week for the Wheel of Time, Book 3, The Dragon Reborn. We'll be covering Part 12, Chapters 48 and 49. Some of the best part of this book, which, by the way, I fucking love. I'm Jono. You listen to Joe.
Keep the change of filthy animals.
Thom.
Study your math.
Goodbye.
Among the first to start, the tWoTcast was so smart to lovingly bash our favorite books. But that was long ago, and now they've grown the show, and now they got us in their hooks. Don't throw coins to these bastards, they need bars of gold at least. Someone please keep them afloat. Now let's listen as they once again ramble through a book. Let's get the fucking quote. One of them is Thom, but he is barely on. Sometimes he calls into the show. Another one is Jono. Is he their joker? Oh no. And Joe, is he the stupid one? Welcome to the tWoTcast. We will share our love for books and all our hate in every episode. We'll entertain you, make you laugh so hard you barely can stand up. That is the tWoTcast goal.